Hmm. Hello, can you see me? Can you hear me? Hi, MP. Hi, John. How you guys doing? Is the sound and movement okay? Can you hear me? Can you see me? Everything is okay. Great. Thank you, guys. Oh boy. Um, yeah, while we're waiting for people to get here, I'll tell you my daily watch story. Um, it's hard to see here, but see these two little things that hold your hi Zayed, how you doing? Uh, these little things, they're called loops. Okay, and the one here that doesn't move at the top is called the fixed loop, and this one, the one that moves around, is called the free loop. And hi, Mark. And it broke. One of them broke, and FP Jorn highly doesn't exactly have bargain priced bands. And this is my beater band, the one that has gator on one side and then it's rubberized on the other. And it's just sort of banging around with it. And so this thing busted, and I had an operation today and glued it back together, and it works fine. This stuff, for if you're doing any kind of band repair, it's called boot fix glue, and it's one that I guess cobblers use for your watch repair. And it really works. I put it on with a toothpick, and I had a um, popsicle stick that I used as a rest for it. And now they're one. Anyway, that was my big pretentious watchmaker deal I had. Okay, hey Blake, how you doing? Standard spring bars or something cooler? This is something cooler. These are the all of the FP Jorn bands come with a quick release little thingy on it, so it's really easy. On the on my resonance, it's it has the crown right up here at 12 o'clock, and I have to uh, wind it this way. Well, the guy at FP Jorn said, just take the top band off. And so with these quick release things, it's very easy to take them off, and I just wind it here and set it and everything. So anyway, that's my little watch repair story. Now, getting the thing back together. This is the handiest thing right here to use. It's a magnifying light, and I just put things under here like this, and you can see it a lot easier. These things, man, I tell you, they are the handiest thing. I have two of them, and when I work on my workbench over here, I have both of them on so you can see everything. That's it's they're really great. I don't use them as magnifying glasses on my workbench because I have loops and everything that you use for that. But they're great for lighter. If I want to do a little work here, just chuck something out or set the time or something, really fantastic. Anyway, it's my watch story. Hey Blake, Mark, Forbin, how you doing for Loopy? Yep, getting technical. Hey Sean. Hey Rodrigo. Okay, duct tape. That's my other major tool. Uh, A metal bracelet. Oh my God. Mark, get one of these with a metal bracelet, and the metal is platinum. Okay. Let me know how your bank account is. No, I don't know. With a somebody was saying, "Well, that company got to, they don't want any kind of bands except metal bands." Oh. How do you have a formal watch with nothing but metal bands? Okay, that's all right. I like these Gator bands. I have one watch with metal band, and it's a great one. Great band too. It's heavy. It's that big Kalpa. But all my other ones have either Gator or leather bands. They're lighter, and I don't know. Uh, for a sports watch, I think having a metal band is the way to go. Okay, red green using duct tape. Okay, quick release is awesome. Yeah, I like them too. Once you get used to a quick release, you wonder why they have any other kind. Oh, hey, Mark N, how you doing? Um, and we got a lot of Marks. Hey, Mark Komala, how are you? Duct tape. Everyone's talking about duct tape. Hey, Truth Fears. Hey, Donald. Uh, okay. No metal band. Mark. If Mark J, the guy that I call Goldfinger, he's from Australia. John, I think it's JHON or something like that. He's got this chronomet souverain in gold with a gold bracelet. That's that's like heavy duty stuff. All right, let's see. Hope you don't go to California with the Gator. Might put you in the pokey. You have to catch me, Lee. I have a fast car. They'll never catch me. I I I know how to drive in California. Get on the freeway. The thing I like about California, you can have gridlock, but it's going 80 miles an hour. So that's my idea of California driving. These California drivers are really good drivers, I think, unless it rains. Then all bets are off. Here in Connecticut, God, they got to drive in snow and rain and everything else. And usually at the first of the winter, they forget that things get real slippery very quickly. Okay. How y'all doing this afternoon? Wherever you are. Yeah, that's a good question, Truth Fears. Yeah, how is everybody doing anyway? Everybody holding up pretty well under the quarantine? One thing that was really neat, San Francisco had one of the first um, shutdowns, and they have the lowest death rate. I mean, by far. I mean, they have like 12 people who died in San Francisco. You take a Bay Area and the Bay Area, whereas New York, my God, those guys are really hurting. And in our town, a little town, we've only got like 20,000 in Bloomfield, and they have had, I forgot how many, but like I think it hit one or two of the nursing homes. And boy, if that happens, you just anyway. Okay, well, let's talk about something else. Oh, Mark, listen, yeah, I I got kids that I got to visit. I love California, but I living in Connecticut. I like it. You know what I like about Connecticut? Little. If you drive an hour in any direction, you're either in New York or Massachusetts or Rhode Island or in the Atlantic Ocean. So at least from where we are. No, it's a very tidy little state. Um, okay, enough about that. We were early to shut down in Ohio too. That's good, Mark. Yeah, you know, uh, here in Connecticut, they had very relatively early shutdowns, but Fairfield County, which is right on the border with New York, there were some people who didn't pay attention, and man, they got hit really bad. Another interesting thing going on too is you got these two states, one on top of the other, Kentucky and Tennessee, and there was like they both sort of got hit at the same time, except the reaction by Kentucky was like, 5 or 6 days sooner. And just the way that stupid uh, virus goes after people, it hit Tennessee so much harder than Kentucky because Kentucky reacted sooner. So anyway, we've got some good friends in both states. I got a lot of relatives in Kentucky. But anyhow, that's another story. Okay, drinking a bottle of wine and eating pizza. I see you're on a health kick, Blake, huh? Okay. We were early to shut down Ohio. That's good. Hey, Stacking Zerps. What are they? You're in southern Rhode Island. Oh, God. Rhode Island is the only state in the continental U.S. that's smaller than Connecticut. I love these compact states. You live in we live in southern New England, but not southern Connecticut. Rhode Island is I love Rhode Island. There's something about it that's just fun. It's sort of like Vermont. Our neighbors are from Vermont. New England has its own personality. Okay, that's enough about that. Mark, are you in a bad way? I hope not. Kentucky windage. Yeah, Fahrenheit for it. Hey, Stephen Marcus, how you doing? Great to see you. Okay, so let's talk about the whole financial end of the of creating our own watch. All right, now here's the project in a nutshell. Is that what we've been trying to do? And in many ways, it's an exercise, and it's a proof of concept, and some other things like that. And the project itself, in looking at all of the costs, just sort of for a round figure, it would be about, for 25 watches, we're talking about $50,000. Now, I think we priced it out, and it was actually the unit price for was more like 1,800, but close enough. 50,000 is a rough number. Now, if I were younger, this is probably something I'd do. I'd take out $50,000, get everything we need, and go with it. But now, it's I do it just for fun, and probably lose my shirt. So anyway, that's not something, but it's something that, when we buy a watch, we're not looking at the same kind of, I'll call it small time. Producing 25 watches isn't very much. You consider Patek Philippe, that they have 50,000 watches a year that they produce. And you don't do that with, some old guy in the back with a watchmaker. You have some other methods. Same with Rolex. Rolex puts out about 1.4 million watches a year. So there's probably some automation in there somewhere. But what we're talking about is not handmade, but hand assembled. All right. And not very much. What a watch company will do that doesn't make their own movements, but likes to sort of talk about themselves making their own movements, they'll take an IBOSH, they'll get the hairspring and the balance from somewhere. If they're an independent, they're most likely get it from H. Moser, because that's H. Moser produces so many, and they won't tell anybody where they go, because I guess that's in the contract. MB&F didn't mind. They told everybody that they use Moser hairsprings, and they're really good. That's, they have they use a combination of niobium and titanium. They have really incredible non-magnetic hairsprings that they make. So and Vossure may use them too. They may also. So who knows? So anyway, let's take a look at what's involved here. And one other thing I was thinking of, some people set up these. I don't know what they're called. You guys always know the name. The Where you put something out and you try to raise money for something online. I bought into one of those very lightly. I spent about $10, I think was all, and they were for these band liners, and they really work. And I don't know what happened to them, but I doubt they made the fortune that they were hoping for. But there's another way if we stop and think, okay, so you got these things. If there's some way that I could get one movement, then I could go through the whole process and say, okay, I'll get one movement, and then I'll contact Voutilanen and Kalen, and because they said they could do it on a one watch basis, and see if I could get them to, hey, there's one that fell off the shelf. I could buy that one from you, maybe. It fell off the truck, or was rejected by the client. We can fix it up for you. And, so that wouldn't be too hard. I mean, the ones that I've made already, I don't know the expense of those watches is, unless I break two or three of the movements, is, well under $100 for those. And they have the same movements that some watches have that sell for thousands. IWC and Breitling and Cartier and a lot of those with their mystery meat movements are actually the same kind of thing. Well, they're ETA instead of Chinese Seagulls, which I tend to use because they're cheaper for me to break than an ETA. But on the other hand, going to the other end, if we take a Vossure movement, Voutilanen and Kalen case, and then have the enamel dial for it, that would be a fun thing to do. And instead of spending 50,000 on 25 watches, I'd probably end up spending 50,000 on one watch with trying to do this stuff. Kickstarter, that's it, Clyde. That's what I was looking for. Well, I don't want to handle any money. Okay, this is the thing: is that when I was younger, I never did like handling other people's money. I just didn't like it. I'm not a businessman. And so what I do, I'd get it somehow and then put something together. I did that with a publishing company, and the first time out, it did everything wrong, and it was extremely expensive. And I got this book rep. It was very fortunate. A guy sold wholesale, and he died. Just, he happened to die. Those things happen. Like what? Anyway, so a lot of interesting stuff can happen if you go off whole hog for these things. Anywho, I would have about to trade a goat, Clyde. Okay, so let's talk about, hi Geezer. Now, truth fears, be careful, unless you're from Georgia. All right, so all of these things, we can raise money selling goat straps. No, you cannot, Mark. Nobody is going to take the hide off of my neighbors, the goats. Nobody. Now, what we could have that would be really cool, we could have cashmere straps, have them woven for us. That would be cool. But no goat skin for the no no truth fears. Not my goats, not my neighbor goats. Listen, I tell you, if you've ever owned a house or if you lived in a house with bad neighbors, you know how bad they can be. They can just be a little bad and still drive you crazy. We've got nothing but good neighbors. And then we got 13 acres behind us of goats. And they got chickens and some other critters back there too. That's fun. And then we have the deer that come trouncing around. And of course, our Bears still haven't put the fence back up. Now they got 2 entrances for it. Okay, so forget the goats. Let's talk about this in terms of you bet, Mark. Uh, let's talk about the what we really what would the feasibility of this be, and if somebody did it, what would happen? Now, somebody sent me a comment. I don't know if any of you guys. He said, it wouldn't be that hard selling 25 watches to people who, want a high quality watch with high quality case, with high quality movement, and high quality, straps and dial for that price. He said that would be very easy. Okay, so my point is, and we're talking, like I said, roughly a $50,000 investment. And let's say I was figuring if they sold it for $3,700 each, which would be a good price. And this was, I think, based on double. I think we figured it out to $1,850 a piece. That's how come I sort of doubled the number to make it easy for 50,000. Actually, be 40 something. And then if you do the math on that, let me see what it would be. And this is not talking about hiring people or anything else, but rather use existing ones. So if you have 37, okay, now that would bring in $92,500. Now and then reduce, take away the cost, and that'd be a pretty tidy profit. But you're not hiring anybody. You have, what's going on is that you're farming out all of the stuff that already exists. So anyway, if somebody wants to do it and is totally optimistic and has money they don't mind losing, have at it. Any other ideas about that? Oh, shiver. Call it the goat's beret. How's that? Geezer, what's up? Hey again. Okay, Williams watches. Hey Williams, how you doing? Switch to a cushion case. That cushion case I got, somebody sent me a note saying, that cushion case, they left out the lugs. And I think either that or I lost them. I'll have to check with that. A cushion case, so yeah, I sort of like the idea. The square, if you have a chance, take a look at Laurent Ferrier's Galette Square. Okay, now those are an interesting looking. I don't know. What I was thinking of a simple round one, or even have I was going to say maybe even a little ovals to it. Not a lot, but just a little. More to not a tonneau, but just sort of little ovalish. I don't know. Okay, let's see. Just start doing a beg stream. You could raise 50,000 in a few months. Not me. That's the thing. I don't like other people's money. I like my own. If I have any, I don't owe anybody anything, and I don't want to. The idea of losing somebody else's money is just not something I'd ever want to do. And some people, that's the only way they do business. And they're called investors and so on and so forth. I know that, but to me, it's work. All right, let's see. I've been studying fusee and change movement at the University of YouTube. Okay, Don. Yeah, they have the I still got a hold of my friend. I'll give him a call tomorrow and see if I can get it. I don't want to, I was gonna. I keep thinking there's real weekends and real work days. They're not. I mean, it's sort of like every day is Panday, 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 Panday. Uh, okay, Blake. Yeah, Blake, you're right about that. Clyde, you got an Aquanaut? I didn't know that. That's cool. Let's see. Yeah, Mark, yeah, on the Galilei Square, those are pretty cool. I tell you, there's something I like the looks of Laurent Ferrier's, but when I went to try them on, they didn't work with me as well as some people they work great with. And their new one that's sort of a rectangle-ish one is that one's sort of interesting. Okay. Oh, I never asked if you had one. You're right. Um, how do you like it? What's my favorite watch case? You know, hmm, I don't have a favorite one. I mean, I like them all for different reasons. This one, my I don't see this as a rectangle case. I see this is where my um, Jacquet 736 lives. And the thing about it is that it's a shape case. I mean, it's a shape movement that fits the case. Now, to me, that's more important is to having a shape movement. And Clyde's Hebdo de Mare, it's a shape case too. It's a bigger shape case, and that I like a lot. Um, I suppose I do have some watches that are tonneau shaped with round movements. And I don't have too many of those because I only have a few of them. There's one though that I think I saw. I think it was Roger Dubuis had something like that that was pretty cool. I don't know. What would you think about going with a, rectangle case or a tonneau shape for this watch we've been talking about? Okay. Your watch is the Aquanaut is 5066A on a rubber wood deployant. Boy, those are nice ones. I mean, those I really like the Aquanaut. I know that everyone talks about, oh, I got to get a Nautilus. I got to get a Nautilus. The Nautiluses are nice, but I like the Aquanaut. Something about them I like. I'm glad to hear you got one. I read somewhere about a new watchmaker school for veterans in the U.S. Can't remember the name. Maybe they would be interested in this project, Assembly. Fahrenheit 451, that would be something, sort of that, um, every year there's one or more scholarships that the Horological Society of New York has for people interested in watchmaking. And I think a number of watchmakers are starting to come back. Okay, let's see what's going on here. With a shape movement to match. Okay. Roger Dubuis. Yeah, yeah, his stuff I like. Um, okay, Geezer likes Aquanauts. Okay, like the Moser and Hebdo more. Oh, that's right. Yeah, the other shape movement I have is in the Moser a double hairspring, the Henry. Yeah, that's another just a gorgeous movement. What it actually is though, it's a movement I think that they already had, but they shaped it. And so they probably moved a few things around and used more of the square, but they also have a round movement, I think, with the essential same base and a double hairspring. They put in the two hairsprings that keep the balance wheel right on target. This is an amazing watch. It's a watch that more people in watchmaking have wanted to look at. If I go out with my my double hairspring, that gets attention, but from watchmakers primarily, who knows what's going on. Um, Trying to think the other watch that I would love to have is the Langenheim Georg. My God, the way he did that movement, you just have the these bridges out. Not each bridge is one of the uh, wheel trains. Man, that is such a cool watch. Anyway, but they're charging what, 60, $70,000 for that. So okay, all right, let's see what's going on here. Hey, Watcher Prey, we can go smaller than 42 millimeter. Yeah, yeah, 42 millimeter. I don't mind it, but I like 40. Um, right around 40 is what I like the best. 39, 40, 41, things like that. 38's not bad. 42 is not bad, but sort of my sweet spot is right around 39, 40, 41. That seems to work out the best. I think this one's a 40, but I'm not sure. This is a Kristen Vanderklaw. I had the moon on it, which is the closest thing I have to an Easter egg. Okay, the movement is fairly big to have a rectangular case. Make it big. Yeah, see, this is the thing is that in the Henry, it's a big watch and they have a big movement in it that fits it pretty well, and I like that. And the same thing with the Beauvais. My God, the Beauvais and the case must have been made right together because the case fits the movement fits the entire case beautifully. So it's probably the nicest knitting I've seen between case and movement of any watch that I have anyway. Speaking of shaped cases, thoughts on Cartier Crash. My favorite. I love the Cartier Crash. Even better than the Crash, I like the I think it's called the Tank Follet, which looks like it got run over by a steamroller, but that's just the most amazing watch. I love that watch. It's a woman's watch, and if I hit the jackpot, I'd get it for my wife. But God, that's a cool watch. Same thing with the Crash. I mean, you can do a lot of creative stuff like that, and to me, it's very interesting. Hi, Hans. What are you up to? What would you say is the most salient to wear at Easter? Well, for me, it's this one because the moon looks like an Easter egg. What would be great for Easter? Have you seen those Frank Mueller with all the different color numbers on it and stuff? Those are really cool. A friend of mine has one, and that would be like an Easter bonnet, your Easter watch. What watches are you guys wearing for Easter? Let's see, warming up to Cartier Torture mono pusher. That's as close as I want to get go to vintage. Yeah, well, it also has that what's it called, TRA or TR something. That's the movement. That movement in the Cartier Torture mono pusher is just gorgeous. Really beautiful movement. Hey Treylo, just passing to say that your channel is amazing. Thank you very much. It's because of all the other guys. It's because that Clyde comes to visit that makes it great. Okay, let's see. Let's see. All right, Hans. Big watch in Little China. It's Big Trouble in Little China. Okay, killer wristwatch check. Let me see. What do you guys? Okay. Pepsi. Okay, you got your Rolex on. To have more flexibility in case choice, we absolutely need a CAD guy. We've got a lot of CADs on this channel. I don't know if we got one that'll work CAD. This is at the beginning before everybody showed up. I was bragging about my the free loop on my FP Jorn broke, and so I glued it back together, and I was telling everybody that two things about this. One, I got it back working again, And second of all, I learned what this is called. This is called the free loop, and the one up at the top is called the fixed loop. How about that? Little watch education. I saw Del Rey has another Bovet. It looks like here's, oh, wow. Yeah. Fed has got some, Fed is, his stuff is, pretty soon he's going to be like, who's that guy in England, Collected Man. He's got some really good selections in at Del Rey now. That's good to see. Okay, stacking Zerps. I tell you what we're doing. This is stacking. I don't know if you were here when we talked about this. I contacted Wooten, Lannon, and Caton, and they said, well, as soon as we get your 2D and 3D renderings of the case you want, then we'll give you a quote. And I'm thinking, you got one that's on the shelf. That's what I'm going to ask. I think tomorrow I'll write them and say, hey, this is. I was hoping that we saw the one that they have at Ophion. Now the ones at Ophion, whose they look like? They look exactly like the ones that Kerry Wooten Lannon has on his watches. Someone pointed out, and they're right, that with the teardrop lugs, those have to be soldered on rather than milled from a solid piece of steel, or, well, in our case, it'd be steel. And so that would add to the price of it. I don't know. So anyway, so they wanted a CAD rendering, and let me see what we had. I don't know. I put those somewhere. I got all of those pictures. We had what we did was simply took the picture of the movement, or not the movement, but the case, and then put it on that. Okay. Okay. Well, let's see. Tell them it's the same case at Ophion. Yeah, I tell you, Mark, it's exactly what I was thinking about. And I'll say, okay, what we want is what I should do first is see if I can get the Ophion, the dimensions. Now, they used a Teletime, I think is what it was called, Teletime movement. Now, Teletime went belly up, and they, I think, were bought by Soprod, which is owned by Festina. And you got a lot of complex relations there to deal with. And so that would be interesting. If I could get the dimensions of that, then I'd know. I would say, look, here's the dimension. This is what the case that we want looks like. Now, I've got the dimensions for that. It's 3004, I think. That's the number on the Vaucher, and it's called 3004 HSCS. Now, the H is for hours, M is for minutes, and CS is for, or it's SC maybe. Yeah, it was Secontes Central. All right, Central. So you got this, the 3D thingy. I don't know what I did with my drawings, but anyway, those will do it. Teletubby must make a cushion case. Techno Time, yeah. Soprod M100R4 is a good movement. Yes, it is. The Soprod M100 is the new name for the old A10, which is the name that they had for the Seiko 4L, I believe, on that mark. But you're right. It is a good movement. Okay, you need to stacking Zerps. It's a problem. I tell you what. Let me see. If you give me 1 second, what I'll do is that I'll get the everything, and I'll put it up here so you guys can see it. Hang on a second. Okay. I'm going to, I hope this doesn't goof anything up. Okay, here we are. And the, whoa, is it 4,002? No, yeah. Okay. Okay, now this is for everybody. If you go here, boom, this is the movement, and the name of it is VMF. And what it stands for, V is for Vasseur, M is for manufacturer, and F is for Fleurier. All right. All of these are see, there's Parmigiani Fleurier, then there's Vasseur Fleurier, and there's some other ones. They also have their own case making. And somebody, I think it was on this group, told me, they said, look, if you go to Vasseur and you say, by the way, too, we also need a case, they may have one that might be a pretty good deal, but I don't know if it's as nice as the one that Voutier-Lannon and Kalin has. They may have it, I don't know. And yeah, Hans, yeah, Central Seconds is in English is what it would be. They have it sounds so much better in French. if you hit the wrong button, you get the French instead of the English, and I'm really good at hitting the wrong button. Manual wind or automatic movement. I think they're all automatic, I believe. The yeah, they're all automatic. Now they have what they have is that they have that big rotor in the back. I think we looked at one. In fact, I'm pretty sure we did. I don't know what I did with it, around here somewhere. But these are fairly standard rotors, 3.7 millimeters high. So that's as opposed to 3.9. It was the least expensive one that we looked at. It's automatic, right? They're all automatic. I don't know why. I don't think Vasseur has a manual one. I don't think. I could be wrong. They have some. Yeah, stacking, right? I think it would be a great project, but my God, man, I tell you, it's it's something we can certainly fill the time during a quarantine with it. Non-watch question: do you use product in your beard? What kind of product? Uh, um, Hans. Do they have a beard product? what I can, I've seen those old, these old curled up mustaches and look like Inspector Perot, but that's not part of the plan. What kind of product? What kind of products do any of you guys have beards and use a product in it? And because I'd like to know what it is, because I can get a product up my beard. That might be sort of fun. Okay, how are we doing on time? Oh, we went way over. So, well, listen, guys, everybody stay safe. And I hope if you celebrate Easter, I hope you had a nice one. And hasta mañana.